contemporary human existence, analyzed through the lens of spiritual cybernetics and the Hermeticism of Thoth, reveals a systematic and deliberate submission to the paradigm of programmed senescence. The perception of physical decay is not an insurmountable biological inevitability, but rather the result of mass conditioning aimed at capitalizing on the individual's ontological insecurity. The scribe of the gods, Thoth, guardian of the laws of universal balance, encoded millennia ago a knowledge that today the cosmetic and pharmaceutical industries attempt to obliterate in order to preserve multi-billion-dollar profits derived from the fear of aging. The true fountain of youth does not reside in complex chemical synthesis laboratories, nor in ephemeral exogenous treatments, but is hidden with disarming simplicity in the very earth we tread. To ignore these natural codes is to condemn oneself to an accelerated decline, delegating one's health to a system that profits from our chronic fatigue. The time has come to recalibrate one's energetic signature through the rediscovery of 3 vegetable presidia, kept as initiatory secrets, capable of rewriting the cellular biography of the organism and restoring the vital flow characteristic of the fullness of one's 20s. The battle against time is, in truth, a skirmish that the system has programmed for the individual to systematically lose, inducing them to perceive every wrinkle or drop in energy as a sign of mechanical malfunction rather than a signal of spiritual disconnection. The medical-industrial paradigm has transformed the body into a defective machine that requires constant external repairs, concealing the fact that the capacity for regeneration is an intrinsic heritage of the divine spark present in every cell. Ancient civilizations, under the guidance of masters of Thoth's caliber, recognized in food not merely a fuel, but a vehicle of information and supreme medicine. We have forgotten how to interrogate the earth, despising the sacred gifts of our ancestors in favor of shiny packaging and hollow promises. The profound disconnection from what truly nourishes biology is the real cause of skin opacity and mental weariness. The wisdom of the ages is ready to be unveiled once again. No invasive procedures are required, but rather the radical decision to reclaim the power contained in vibrant foods, capable of reversing the biological clock through reconnection with the primordial force of the planet. Leave us alike, accompanied by a hype, here, now, and I will know that you have chosen not to turn back and that your soul is in alignment with this inescapable truth. The first code of pulsating regeneration resides in the color of the blood of the earth itself, the beetroot. This vegetable is not a simple nutritional resource, but a living symbol of blood vitality, celebrated by the ancient Greeks who associated it with Aphrodite as a presidium of beauty and vigor. Contemporary science has finally decoded what Egyptian initiates knew by intuition. The high density of natural nitrates is transmuted within the circulatory system into nitric oxide, the so-called miracle molecule. This compound acts as an invisible architect on the arterial walls, expanding the vessels and removing the debris accumulated over years of nutritional neglect. To irrigate the body with this purple elixir means to restore fluidity and the strength of youth to the blood, instantaneously boosting the oxygenation of every single organ, from the brain to the muscles. Elite athletes today use this secret to shatter their physical limits, following in the footsteps of Roman legionaries who saw beetroot as a potent natural aphrodisiac. Integrating this red code into one's daily ritual is not a diet, but an act of communion with telluric energy that dissipates mental fog and restores to the skin that radiance that seemed lost forever. While beetroot opens the channels of vital flow, the second vegetable secret, spinach, acts as the supreme architect of structural repair at the genomic level. Often underestimated, this green elixir is a complex biological laboratory, designed for the reconstruction of the walls of the bodily temple through chlorophyll, whose molecular structure is almost specular to that of human hemoglobin. Consuming fresh spinach is comparable to a transfusion of liquid sunlight that saturates the cells with oxygen, accelerating the healing and regeneration processes of tissues damaged by chronic oxidation. Ayurvedic and Persian wisdom revered these leaves as supreme purifiers of the blood and mind, presidia for spiritual clarity. Studies conducted at world-renowned universities have shown that daily consumption of these nutrients can restore the cognitive function of a person 11 years younger to a senescent brain. But the true magic lies in the protection of telomeres, the ends of DNA that determine the duration of cellular life. Spinach, rich in folates, acts as a shield that preserves the integrity of the code of life, allowing cells to divide without losing their vital force, counteracting aging at its deepest and most inviolable root. The completion of this alchemical triad is entrusted to celery, the silent purifier, tasked with removing the metabolic debris that obstructs the temple of youth. If beetroot irrigates and spinach reconstructs, celery acts as an invisible brush for the lymphatic and renal systems, eliminating toxins and chronic inflammation, which are the true engines of premature aging. For Taoist masters, celery was the symbol of absolute clarity, necessary for qi to flow unimpeded in a body free from chemical and emotional obstructions. Its unique compounds, such as apigenin, intervene in the silent inflammatory processes that erode joints and extinguish the vitality of organs. The diuretic and alkalizing action of this vegetable resets the internal biochemical environment, reducing blood pressure and promoting a profound relaxation of the nervous system. It is during sleep, facilitated by the minerals contained in celery, that the organism performs its most significant restoration work. Taking pure celery juice on an empty stomach is a purification ritual that prepares the ground so that the strength of the beetroot and the architecture of the spinach can operate on an uncontaminated field, ensuring unprecedented regenerative efficiency in modern dietetics. To protect this delicate process of internal alchemy, the wisdom of Thoth reveals the existence of an inviolable guardian. Garlic, a millennial sentinel that in ancient Egypt was valued more than precious metals. This modest bulb is not a simple condiment, but a biosynthetic presidium whose function is to ensure that the bodily temple remains immune to external aggression during the reconstruction phase. Historically administered to the pyramid builders to guarantee their superhuman endurance, garlic contains allicin, one of the most potent antibiotics and antivirals found in nature. Roman gladiators used it to increase courage and physical strength, recognizing it as a catalyst of vital power. In addition to its immune function, garlic purifies the circulatory system and reduces levels of oxidized cholesterol, acting in perfect symbiosis with beetroot to protect the heart, the central engine of existence. It acts as a barrier against silent threats that accelerate cellular decay, ensuring that the rejuvenation work performed by the sacred triad is not sabotaged by opportunistic inflammations or viruses. Without the guardian at the gate, the restoration would be vulnerable. With garlic, the system becomes an impregnable fortress of health. The true mastery of Thoth lies not in the isolated consumption of these elements, but in their alchemical synergy, a symphony of regeneration that is activated when these four forces meet within the organism. Together, they form a total antioxidant barrier, neutralizing free radicals, those metabolic sparks that cause cellular fires, accelerating senescence. Beetroot provides betalains, spinach lutein, celery apigenin, and garlic allicin, an army of protectors patrolling every corner of the body. This combination floods the blood with pure oxygen thanks to chlorophyll, creating an alkaline environment hostile to disease and chronic inflammation. At a deeper level, these plants act as DNA maintenance engineers, repairing replication errors and nourishing the intestinal microbiome, that army of beneficial bacteria that regulates hormonal and immune balance. This is the true science behind the magic, a 360-degree strategy that extinguishes the processes of decay and ignites the flame of vitality. One must question why modern society pushes toward synthetic pharmacological solutions, ignoring the divine pharmacy that grows lushly from the earth, ready to deliver the secrets of longevity to anyone with the humility to recognize it. To understand the scope of this transformation, consider the testimony of Ernesto, a 65-year-old man whose body had become a map of chronic pain and existential weariness. He had resignedly accepted decline as an inevitable consequence of age, until he decided to integrate the four guardians into his daily life, abandoning the miracle solutions of the industry. After only 8 weeks, the change was not merely aesthetic, but ontological. The mental fog dissipated, joint pains vanished, and his skin acquired a radiance that seemed to come from an internal source of light. It was not a magical intervention, but biology in action. Beetroot had reoxygenated the system, spinach had repaired cellular structures, celery had removed inflammatory toxins, and garlic had shielded his defenses. Ernesto did not stop chronological time, but reversed biological time, signing a new life contract with his cells. His story is not an isolated case, but the predictable result of a return to natural laws, the proof that youth is not something irrevocably lost, but a condition that is neglected and can be reclaimed with the right knowledge and deliberate intention. It is essential, however, to understand that in nature the power of a remedy also resides in the way it is honored and prepared, as there is a path of shadows that can sabotage all progress. To consider every vegetable intrinsically healthy regardless of treatment is an error that can prove lethal to the rejuvenation process. A vegetable boiled to the point of extinction of its vital force becomes a dead food that burdens the system instead of nourishing it. Similarly, the use of unstable oils or high-temperature cooking transforms gifts of the earth into bombs of free radicals and inflammatory compounds. Wisdom lies in balance and awareness of the method. Spinach consumed in excess can accumulate oxalates, and beetroot can exceed in sugars if not correctly balanced. The nutritional intelligence of Thoth teaches us to prefer the raw, the fresh, and the minimally processed, honoring the vibrational structure of food. The body is like a sponge. If it receives nutrients charged with life, it shines. If it receives oxidized or degraded substances, it accelerates its decline. The choice to rejuvenate inevitably passes through the kitchen, where every gesture of preparation must be an act of conscious attention toward the medicine we are about to consume, ensuring that every bite is a step toward light and not toward inflammation. The validity of these teachings finds incontrovertible anthropological confirmation in the so-called blue zones, areas of the planet where centenarian longevity is not a statistical exception, but a social custom characterized by health and lucidity. From Okinawa to Sardinia, a diet composed of over 90% pure plant presidia is the pillar upon which rests an existence that defies modern statistics of decay. In these cultures, the act of nourishing oneself is a sacred ritual of communion with the energy of the sun and the earth, a practice of rasayana, or rejuvenation that does not seek immortality in the temporal sense, but vital fullness until the last breath. They cultivate energy, not just calories, recognizing in the vegetable guardians indispensable partners for maintaining the balance between body and mind. The ancestral wisdom, which resonates through the millennia from the time of Thoth, confirms that youth is a conscious choice renewed with every meal. The blue zones are not magical geographical places, but living examples of the potential latent in every human being who decides to align their lifestyle with the immutable laws of nature, proving that a long and vibrant life is a reality accessible through the simplicity of returning to one's origins. The journey toward biological regeneration culminates not in theoretical learning, but in a solemn commitment to one's physical and spiritual integrity. The fountain of youth has never been a mythical place to be discovered, but a truth present in every kitchen and in every daily choice on one's plate. Embracing the triad of forbidden vegetables and their guardian garlic is an act of rebellion against the industry of fear and decline. It is the decision to stop fighting against one's body and start collaborating with its infinite regenerative wisdom. Imagine your organism as a restored temple, where every cell vibrates in unison with the force of creation. The red of the beetroot, the green of the spinach, the clarity of the celery, and the protective light of the garlic compose the mosaic of your new existence. This pact with one's biology is not a constraint, but the ultimate expression of sovereignty and self-love. The future of your vitality is in your hands, written in today's choices and nourished by the kinetic faith of those who know that the body is programmed to flourish and not to wither. May this awareness be the cornerstone of a new phase of your life, where energy does not desert you and your mind remains sharp as the beam of an obelisk, guiding you toward a future of radiant and limitless health. I thank you from the depths, knowing that your presence and your choice are the very foundation of this mission of awakening and health. I urge you now to seal this moment with a like as your seal of commitment, to subscribe to the channel so as not to lose your way to your full vital expression, and to comment with the key phrase, "I choose supreme vitality," as your personal proclamation of rebirth. May your inner coherence be your unbreakable beacon, guiding you toward the boldest and most limitless expression of your potential. May abundance resonate with your every truth. See you soon.